So you may have noticed while we're building up this blaster shot that the on collision enter method is growing and growing. And for every single thing that we need to damage, we're going to have to keep adding more and more code. So if I want to add in 8 more enemies, this is going to get quite a bit longer. If I want to add in a couple other things that I can shoot, it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing. Now, there is a very good solution for this. There's an easy way to simplify this, to remove a lot of this code and make things a lot easier to extend in the future. And again, we're going to have a little challenge. This challenge is going to be a little bit bigger than the other ones. What I'd like you to do is come up with the solution so that we can cut this on collision enter method down to maybe 3, 4, or 5 lines. Something really short that deals with damaging any type of thing that we want to hit and uses some special trick or some special code that we may have covered in the past. Or we definitely have covered in the past. So using the same type of thing that we've used before. So if you're not sure what that is, go ahead and just continue on and I'll give you some clues. But if you have a good idea, you got something in mind, you think that you know what to do, go ahead and try to solve the problem right now and then continue on. If you need a couple clues, I'll give you some of those and then we'll dive into the solution. All right, I'll assume that you either are ready for clues or want the solution. Let's start with a couple of clues. Remember when we wanted to deal with lasers and we added a ITakeDamage interface? This made it so that we could damage multiple different types of things. We've got 3 references to it. We have one on our ladybug, or there's 2 types of things. One on our ladybug and one on our brick. Right here, ITakeDamage. This defined a method that we could call, and then we use this from our laser. Our laser looks for things that you implement ITakeDamage. Let's see if we can find that right here, and then tells them to take laser damage. So with that in mind, continue on, see if you can find the solution. All right, it's solution time. What we're gonna do is create an ITakeDamage interface. So I'm gonna create a new script, call this ITakeDamage. We'll open it up and it's gonna have a bunch of stuff in it that I don't need. So I'll delete out everything except for the word ITakeDamage. So say public interface, and I'll paste in ITakeDamage. We'll add a void takeDamage method that has no parameters and returns nothing. Save and then copy ITakeDamage back onto my clipboard. I'm going to go to the blaster shot, and in the blaster shot, instead of finding a dog, I'll find an ITakeDamage, and then I'll delete all of the code for the ladybug and the brick. I'm going to replace the word dog with damageable, and then get rid of these braces because I don't need them. Now we're down to 3 lines, and all I need to do is add the ITakeDamage interface to my 3 different classes. My dog, so I'll add it right up here, and we'll make this word public instead of internal because the interface needs it to be public unless I mark it as internal in there, but making it match and making it public matches with everything else I've done. So we're gonna do that, and then we'll go back to the brick. We'll add the ITakeDamage. So we add a comma after the other interface and ITakeDamage. And again, we're going to have that problem of it saying internal instead of public. I'll just replace it with public. And then the final one is in the ladybug. Well, again, after the ITakeDamage, paste in a comma or put a comma and then ITakeDamage. And then just go make sure that this says public and not internal. I'll save, do a build with Control-Shift-B, make sure all those little stars disappear. We'll press play, and now we'll have a much more generic, a lot easier to extend way for us to take damage or to make things take damage. Let's shoot. The dog takes damage and dies. Let's go kill this ladybug here. She takes damage and dies, and if I blast these bricks, they still take damage and die, but I don't need to modify my blaster shot script anymore when I want to add in new objects. I'll just make them implement that ITakeDamage interface. Let's go to plastic and add our notes that we've added, the ITakeDamage interface, and check it in.